The afternoon light slants through my office window, casting a golden glow across the row of gaming awards lining my bookshelf. Each crystal trophy catches the light, different lifeless testaments to the journey that took me from homeless teenager to founder of North Star Games. I run my finger across my latest achievement, Game Innovation of the Year, and smile. 18 years of proving everyone wrong looks pretty good on my shelf. The doorbell rings, pulling me from my moment of quiet pride. I'm not expecting anyone. My team knows I work from home on Tuesdays to focus on our newest concept, and Zoe has her keys. I open the door and freeze. My mother stands on my porch, looking smaller than I remember. The confident woman who once ruled our family home with immaculate appearances has been replaced by someone with deeper wrinkles and anxious eyes. She clutches a weathered cardboard box against her chest like a shield. "Eden," she says, her voice wavering. "May I come in?" 18 years of minimal contact holiday cards returned unopened, voicemails deleted, graduation invitations ignored, and now she appears unannounced at my door. The urge to close it in her face nearly overwhelms me, but curiosity wins out. 5 minutes, I say, stepping aside. She walks into my home, eyes darting around, taking in the evidence of my success, the modern furnishings, the framed magazine covers featuring my games, the view of downtown Minneapolis from my window. "You've done well for yourself," she offers. I don't acknowledge the compliment. "Why are you here?" Her hands tremble as she places the box on my coffee table. "There's something you need to see." I make no move toward it. "After 18 years of silence, you bring me a box?" "Please," she whispers, pushing it toward me. "Just look." Sighing, I lift the lid. Inside are letters, several of them, neatly stacked. The moment I see the first envelope, my stomach drops. University letterheads, acceptance letters, my name. 7 of them, all from 2005. My fingertips go numb as I lift the first one. Prestigious Northeastern University, game design program, full scholarship. I open it with shaking hands, reading words that were meant for 17-year-old me. "We are pleased to inform you of your acceptance." I look up at my mother, ice forming in my veins. "You hid these from me." She sinks onto my couch, shoulders curving inward. I didn't know what to do. Bailey was struggling with her applications, getting waitlisted everywhere. Her voice breaks. I couldn't let her feel like the lesser daughter. The memory crashes over me checking the mailbox every day after school. My heart races at the sight of thick envelopes, only to find bills and advertisements. Dad's disappointment growing each day, no acceptances arrived. Bailey's smug expression behind our parents' backs, as if she knew something I didn't. "You let Dad kick me out," I say, my voice dangerously quiet. "You watched him call me a failure at dinner that night." I can still hear his voice booming across our dining room table. "Not one acceptance letter? After all that talk about game design programs? You didn't even try, Eden. Not like your sister." My mother's eyes fill with tears. I never thought he'd go that far. I just wanted to give Bailey her moment. Another letter falls open in my hands. California Tech. Full ride. They'd wanted me. I slept on Jamie's couch for 1.5 years. I continue, my voice hollow. I lost everything. My home, my boyfriend, my future. The memory of Matt's pained face as he broke up with me surfaces. I can't handle all this drama, Eden. My parents think I should focus on someone more stable. "I know," Mom whispers. "But look at what you've accomplished anyway. You're so much stronger than Bailey ever was." I laugh, the sound brittle and sharp. "Now you're proud of me, now that I've succeeded despite you." I remember the tiny back room of Console Heroes, the repair shop that became my reluctant salvation. Learning to fix gaming systems by day, teaching myself coding at night, my fingers cramped from hours of practice on a secondhand laptop. Each rejection from gaming companies who wouldn't look twice at a self-taught programmer without credentials. One by one, I place each acceptance letter on the coffee table between us, creating a physical timeline of what was stolen from me. 7 paths to a different life. 7 doors slammed shut. Mom shifts nervously, her eyes fixed on the letters. There's more I need to tell you. The family. We're having some troubles now. What kind of troubles, I ask, though I already know where this is heading. Bailey's going through a divorce. She lost her job at the firm last month. Your father's health isn't good, and the medical bills. She stops, perhaps seeing the coldness in my eyes. I feel nothing but a detached curiosity. After years of struggle, after building everything from nothing, they've come for help. Why are you showing me these now? I ask, my voice measured and calm. She blinks rapidly, caught between honesty and self-preservation. In the silence that follows, I already have my answer. The letters between us tell a story neither of us can rewrite, but only one of us will determine how it ends. The morning sun glints off the still water of Lake Superior, casting diamond-like reflections across my cabin's pine floors. I've chosen this spot precisely for its contrast to my childhood home open, instead of stifling, natural instead of staged for appearances. No family photos line these walls, only framed concept art for my most successful games. I hear tires on gravel before I see the car. My shoulders tense as I spot Bailey stepping out of our mother's sedan. Even from this distance, I can see how the years have changed her. The polished attorney persona has faded, replaced by someone who looks perpetually tired. Her designer clothes have given way to department store basics, and her once perfect highlights now show a half-inch of dark roots. Mother emerges next, clutching her purse like it might flee. I make them wait a full minute before opening the door. What a lovely place, Mother says, her eyes darting around my cabin. Her tone carries the same forced cheerfulness she once used when inspecting my less-than-perfect school projects. So, rustic. Bailey sinks into my leather couch without invitation. Nice view. Must have cost a fortune. What do you want? I remain standing, arms crossed. Mother perches on the edge of an armchair, rehearsed smile in place. We thought it was time for some family healing, Eden. After I showed you those letters. After you confessed to sabotaging my future, I correct her. She flinches but continues. Yes, well, it's time to move forward. Families make mistakes, but we're still family. I remain silent, watching as their carefully constructed script unravels in the face of my stillness. Bailey breaks first. Mom, just tell her. She turns to me, irritation sharpening her features. Dad's medical bills are piling up. The insurance isn't covering his heart treatments. I lost my partnership at the firm last month, and Jason is dragging out the divorce proceedings to avoid paying alimony. And this concerns me how? Mother leans forward. We know you've done well for yourself, Eden. That gaming company of yours, North Star Games, I supply. Currently valued at $47 million. Mother's eyes widen slightly. Yes, well, we thought perhaps you might help with Dad's medical expenses. And Bailey needs somewhere to stay while she gets back on her feet. I walk to the window, studying the shoreline while processing their audacity. So let me understand this. You hide my college acceptances, let Dad kick me out at 17, ignore me for 18 years, and now you want what? Money? A place to stay? You always were dramatic, Bailey mutters. I turn slowly. Was I being dramatic when you helped hide those letters? Her head snaps up. What? Mom just told me yesterday, but she didn't have to. Your handwriting was on one of the envelopes. Return to sender. The realization had hit me last night while examining each letter more carefully. Bailey's face flushes. You were always showing off with your little computer games. It was embarrassing. Embarrassing? We always thought game design was just a hobby, dear, Mother interjects. Something you'd grow out of. Bailey leans back, arms crossed defensively. We never thought you'd actually succeed at it. The rage that shoots through me is so intense I have to grip the windowsill. While you were attending law school graduation parties, I was sleeping on a repair shop floor because Jamie's parents couldn't keep me forever. While Dad was bragging about his lawyer daughter, I was working 3 jobs and teaching myself coding at midnight. I walk to my desk and pull out an old laptop, scratched and dented but still functional. This cost me 4 months of paychecks. I sold plasma twice a word it. Every gaming company rejected me because I had no credentials your family made sure I couldn't get. My phone buzzes. Jamie's name flashes on the screen. Hey Jay, I answer, turning away from my family. The team meeting's still on for 4? Jamie's voice grounds me, reminds me of who stood by me when it mattered. Perfect. Tell Marcus I approved the new concept art. See you then. I hang up, strengthened by this brief connection to my real support system. Mother watches me intently. Your team sounds important to you. They are my family, I say simply. They believe in me. Always have. A flash of memory. Christmas Eve 6 years ago, huddled with Jamie and our first 3 employees around a space heater in our tiny rental office. We'd ordered Chinese food while my parents attended Bailey's law school graduation celebration. Eden, Mother begins, her voice softening to the tone she once used to coax me into family photos. We're still your family. We made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting a birthday, I reply. What you did was deliberate sabotage. Bailey stands, desperation replacing her earlier defensiveness. I need a place to stay while I get back on my feet. Just a few months. I look at them both, these strangers who share my blood, but none of my values. I think of the letters, carefully preserved in my office safe. Of the 17-year-old who cried herself to sleep in Jamie's basement. Of the girl who became a woman without their help or love. I stand, straighten my shoulders. Towering over them both, I feel nothing but a distant pity. Family doesn't steal futures, I say, walking toward the door. My voice carries a calm certainty that surprises even me. I'll be in touch. I hold the door open, the message clear. As they shuffle past, I remain rooted in the doorway of the home I built for myself, one they could never take away. The first month's rent for my apartment eats nearly every dollar I've saved. It's a generous term to call it an apartment more accurately. It's a studio the size of a generous walk-in closet, with water stains mapping constellations across the ceiling. But it's mine. I arrange my secondhand desk beneath the only window. The desk wobbles when I type, so I fold a takeout menu and wedge it under the short leg. My whiteboarded garage sale sign dominates the wall beside my twin mattress on the floor. It's covered in multicolored scrawls, game mechanics, storyline fragments, and a growing collection of rejection emails paraphrased into lessons. Concept lacks market viability. Translated. Make something people actually want. Insufficient technical demonstration. Translated. Learn to code better. Requires industry experience. Translated. Find another path in. 3 a.m. finds me hunched over my keyboard, eyes burning. Then it happens not with a dramatic flash of inspiration, but with a quiet realization that settles into my bones. I've been designing games I thought would impress established companies. Games I don't actually want to play. I push away from my desk, grab a marker, and wipe my whiteboard clean. In the center, I write 2 words. North Star Games. My own company. My own vision. No more begging for approval from gatekeepers who can't see past my lack of credentials. Month 11 of development, and my landlord's patience wears as thin as my wallet. I stand in the parking lot of Lenny's used cars, watching a stranger drive a Honda. The envelope of cash in my pocket feels simultaneously heavy and insufficient. It's enough for 3 months' rent, maybe 4 if I cut back on everything else. 2 weeks later, I'm coding by candlelight. The electricity notice came, yesterday final warning. Service terminated. My laptop battery has 3 hours left. I gather my notes. The 24-hour diner 3 blocks away has outlets and free refills for paying customers. The waitress there, Vera, has started saving me the corner booth on Tuesday nights. My phone buzzes as I lock my apartment door. Bailey's name flashes on the screen. Hey there, little sis, she says when I answer, her voice dripping with sugary concern. Just checking in. How's the little game project coming along? I hear the eagerness beneath her words, the hunger for details of my struggle. These calls always come when our parents are nearby, so Bailey can relay my failures in real time. It's going great, I lie, shivering as I walk through the November chill. Investors are showing interest. She pauses, momentarily thrown. Oh, Well, that's nice. Dad got the family newsletter printed. I made partner at the firm, so there's a whole section about that. What she doesn't say, I'm not mentioned at all. Just like the Christmas card that arrived last week with the Brooks family, signed in my mother's perfect handwriting. You've got 15 minutes. Marcus Washington checks his watch, not looking up from the stack of portfolios on his desk. As founding partner of Washington Gameworks, he's a legend in indie development circles and notoriously impatient. I place my laptop on his desk and open the prototype. No fancy presentation, no rehearsed speech, just the gamey vision made real through months of solitary work. It's called Recode, I say, stepping back to let him explore the interface. An immersive narrative where players literally rewrite their world to solve puzzles and advance the story. His fingers move across the keyboard, testing boundaries I've spent months perfecting. 14 minutes pass in silence. Where did you study? He asks without looking away from the screen. I didn't, self-taught. Now he looks up, really seeing me for the first time. Bullshit. I taught myself C++ from library books. I shrug. JavaScript from online tutorials. He leans back in his chair. You're Eden Brooks. Yes. The coffee shop girl who fixed my daughter's gaming console last year. Marcus is quiet for a long moment, studying me with new interest. Then he reaches for his checkbook. 20,000, he says, writing, for 10% equity in whatever company you're forming to develop this further. My knees nearly buckle. Don't thank me, he interrupts, tearing out the check. This isn't charity. This is the best investment I'll make this year. Jamie's resignation letter sits on my kitchen counter. Her steady corporate job traded for the uncertainty of what we're building. You're insane, I tell her, not for the first time, as we unpack equipment in our rented office space, a former storage room above a print shop downtown. Probably, she agrees, setting up her workstation. But you needed a CTO, and I needed to stop designing soulless mobile games for people who don't care about gaming. Our team grows slowly. Marcus introduces us to Zach, a gifted artist who creates worlds with his stylus that make players forget they're looking at pixels. Then comes Dana, whose music compositions turn simple animations into emotional experiences. We work through Thanksgiving, eating pizza at our desks while coding. Christmas finds us debugging through the night, the office decorated with a single strand of lights around our whiteboard. Shouldn't you guys be with your families? I ask during our 2 a.m. pizza break. Dana shrugs. My parents still don't understand why I waste my music degree on video games. Zach raises his soda can. To chosen family, we clink cans, and I feel something settle in my chest of belonging I haven't felt since before those acceptance letters were hidden away. The email arrives on a Tuesday morning, 13 months after I wiped my whiteboard clean and wrote North Star Games. We're interested in featuring Recode in our spring showcase. The platform is small but respected, known for highlighting innovative indie games. I read the email aloud to my team, our faces reflected in the monitor's glow. 2 weeks later, our download counter begins to tick upward after the showcase, then faster. By midnight, our server crashes from the traffic. While Jamie works to get us back online, I print the first review. 5 stars. A groundbreaking narrative experience that redefines player agency and storytelling. I frame it, hanging it above my desk, where a college diploma might have gone in another life. This is my degree, my validation, my proof. This is the path I built when every other one was stolen from me. The morning light streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows of North Star's headquarters, illuminating the sleek, modern space we've built from nothing. I stand at the threshold between my modest office and our state-of-the-art testing lab, watching my team work. 42 employees now, each one carefully chosen, each one believing in our vision when the industry said we'd fail. My office remains small and functional, just enough space for creativity without excess. But the testing lab beyond is our crown jewel. Cutting-edge equipment, customized workstations, and the vibrant energy of passionate developers. The contrast isn't accidental. I've learned that balance between humility and ambition is what drives sustained success. My eyes drift to the framed review on my Waller first positive press coverage, when GameStream called our debut release revolutionary in its approach to player agency. I had it framed not in gold or mahogany, but in the same cheap black plastic as the frame that once held my high school diploma. A reminder of beginnings. My phone buzzes for the third time today. Mother again. I silence it without looking and return to my desk where my tablet displays the latest in a growing collection of desperate family communications. 7 voicemails from my mother in the past week, each more urgent than the last. Eden, please call us back. We really need to talk. Your father isn't doing well. He's asking about you. Can we please just have lunch? Somewhere public, if that makes you feel better. And then yesterday, the security footage Jamie forwarded. Bailey standing in our lobby, demanding to see me, eventually being escorted out by security. Her designer handbag clashing with her frayed composure. This morning's email from our PR director included screenshots of my father attempting to connect with our business partners on LinkedIn. Clumsy digital footprints from a man who once called computers expensive toys. You need to see this, Jamie says, appearing in my doorway with her tablet extended. Her expression warns me it's nothing good. I take it and scroll through recent social media posts from my family members sudden, enthusiastic mentions of how they've always supported Eden's creativity and how family has always been the backbone of her success. Mother has even unearthed a photo of 12-year-old me holding a gaming controller, captioned with fabricated pride. They're getting desperate, I say, handing the tablet back. Jamie sits across from me. What's your play here? I don't answer immediately. Instead, I open my bottom drawer and extract a leather portfolio one Marcus gave me when we secured our first major investor. Inside is the legal consultation I obtained last week, outlining options for establishing formal boundaries. I've been doing some calculations, I tell her, revealing the spreadsheet I've been meticulously developing, about exactly what was stolen from me. Jamie leans forward, her eyes widening as she scans the document. You're itemizing it? Every dollar. My voice remains steady, emotions carefully contained. 4 years of tuition at California Tech, housing costs, projected entry-level salary in game development from 2009 to 2012, opportunity costs, interest. I slide the tablet toward her, showing the final figure, $184,200. My assistant Raj appears at the door, freezing when he glimpses the spreadsheet. Is that what I think it is? It's an invoice, I confirm, for what I lost when they decided my future wasn't worth as much as Bailey's ego. Are you actually sending them a bill? His shock is evident, but there's something else in his expression, a recognition of the power in quantifying pain. This isn't about money, I explain, though of course it partly is. Money speaks the language my parents understand. It's about acknowledgement. They want to pretend those years of struggle never happened. That they didn't watch me nearly destroy myself building something from nothing. My team stays silent as I finalize the PDF, attaching it to an email with a simple message. If you truly want to make things right, this is your starting point. The cursor hovers over send for only a moment before I click. It's done. 3 minutes pass before my mother's reply appears. We don't have that kind of money. Not, I'm sorry. Not, you're right. Just an immediate deflection of responsibility. I close my laptop and look up at the concerned faces surrounding me. They understand what comes next, even if my family doesn't. This response tells me everything I need to know about their sudden reappearance in my life. The next step in my plan crystallizes. It won't be about revenge, I've moved beyond that. It will be about closure, about drawing lines that can never again be crossed without consequence. I stand, suddenly eager to return to the testing lab where real work happens. Let them worry about how to respond, I say. I've spent 18 years figuring out how to live without them. They can spend a few days learning what it feels like to be powerless. As my team disperses, I pause at the framed review on my wall, tracing the word revolutionary with my fingertip. Some revolutions begin with grand gestures. Others, like mine, start with an invoice, and the quiet power of putting a price on what was once deemed worthless. The afternoon light slants through the conference room windows of North Star Games, casting long shadows across the polished table where Jamie and my three closest team members sit. Their faces reflect various shades of concern as I lay out the acceptance letters in chronological order. I've thought about this for weeks, I tell them, my voice steadier than I expected. The invoice was just the first step. Eliza, my lead designer, glances at the letters, then back at me. They didn't respond to the invoice at all. Oh, they responded. I pull up the email on my phone. My mother said they don't have that kind of money, as if that was ever the point. Jamie leans forward, elbows on the table. 18 years of friendship has given her an almost supernatural ability to read my intentions. This isn't about getting even, is it? It's about closure. Exactly. I tap my finger on the University of Southern California letter me top choice, full ride, the golden ticket to the future I dreamed of. I don't want their money. I want them to understand what they took from me. Marcus, my marketing director who started as an intern when we were both working out of a garage, frowns. What are you thinking? A letter? A formal statement? I shake my head. Something they can't ignore or explain away. Something that will sit in their house and remind them every single day. The team exchanges glances, but it's Zach who finally speaks. The acceptance letter itself. Framed. For the first time today, I smile. With a very specific inscription. My hands tremble slightly as I lift the USC acceptance letter from its envelope. The yellowing paper feels fragile, like a pressed flower preserving a moment that never fully bloomed. I smooth it carefully on my desk, studying the official letterhead, the enthusiastic language, the generous scholarship offer. This one, I tell the framer, sliding it across the counter in its protective sleeve. I want something simple but substantial. Black frame, acid, free matting. The framer, a gray-haired woman with artist's hands, studies the letter. This is from 2005, she observes. Must be important to you. It was supposed to be, I reply, my voice carefully neutral. I'd also like an inscription on a brass plate at the bottom. She reaches for her notepad. What would you like it to say? I hand her a slip of paper with the words I've crafted and discarded dozens of times, until landing on the perfect phrasing words that encapsulate 18 years of struggle and triumph. Her eyebrows lift slightly as she reads it, but she asks no questions. I'll have this ready by Friday. Would you like it gift wrapped? No, I tell her, but I would like the highest quality glass you have. I want it to last. My living room feels too quiet as I stare at the finished frame. The black border gleams in the lamplight, the letter perfectly centered on cream matting. At the bottom, the brass plate catches the light, my message engraved in elegant script. This is what I earned. You were never worthy of it. Jamie sits across from me, nursing a glass of wine. Are you sure you don't want to deliver it yourself? See their faces? I shake my head, running my finger along the edge of the frame. That would make it about me need to witness their reaction. This isn't about me anymore. It's about them living with the truth. Courier service, then? With signature required. I wrap the frame carefully in bubble wrap, then place it in a sturdy box. No return address, no note. Cold, Jamie says, but her tone holds admiration rather than judgment. Precise, I correct her, sealing the box with packing tape, like cauterizing a wound. 3 days later, my phone pings with a delivery confirmation. The package has been signed for by Thomas Brooksby father. I stare at his name on the screen while standing in the middle of my company's test lab, surrounded by developers playing our newest game. I expected to feel something more vindication, perhaps, or at least relief. Instead, there's only a strange hollowness, like the aftermath of a storm. My phone buzzes again. A string of texts from my mother. I delete them without reading. Whatever excuses or justifications she's offering cannot change what was done. That night, I can't sleep. I pace my living room until 3 a.m., the delivery confirmation still open on my phone. Something feels unfinished, despite the perfectly executed plan. At dawn, I sit at my desk and open my laptop. My fingers hover over the keyboard for a moment before I type Educational Opportunity Foundation requirements. The idea crystallizes as the Sunrise sees a scholarship specifically for students whose families don't support their educational dreams. Full funding, mentorship, and housing assistance for those who, like me, might otherwise fall through the cracks. I call Jamie at 6:30 a.m. I need to set up a meeting with our financial team. I tell her when she answers, her voice still thick with sleep. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, I reply, feeling the hollow space inside me beginning to fill with something new. I just figured out what to do with all this pain. I'm going to turn it into someone else's opportunity. By noon, I'm sitting across from our company's financial advisor, outlining my vision for the Earned Future Foundation. As I describe the scholarship criteria, his initial skepticism transforms into genuine interest. This is more than a tax write-off, he observes. This is a legacy. I think about the framed letter now sitting in my parents' house, the silent rebuke it represents. It served its purpose closing one chapter, but this foundation will open countless new ones. The best revenge isn't sending a message, I tell him, pulling up the application form I've already drafted. It's making sure no one else has to overcome what I did. The spotlights feel warm on my face as I step to the podium, scanning the faces of 10 students seated in the front row, each one holding an acceptance letter not hidden in boxes or stolen from mailboxes, but proudly displayed in their hands. Welcome to the inaugural class of the Earned Future Foundation. My voice catches. Each of you was selected not just for your talent, but for your perseverance in the face of family opposition to your dreams. Sarai, front row center, nods vigorously. Her parents refused to support her software engineering ambitions, preferring she follow family tradition into banking. Now she clutches her MIT acceptance letter, fully funded by my foundation. After the ceremony, I duck into a quiet hallway, breathing deeply. Dr. Winters, my therapist of 18 months, would call this progress allowing myself to feel the weight of this moment instead of deflecting with work. That thing with your hands again, Jamie says beside me. The one Dr. Winters calls emotional lockdown. I uncurl fists I hadn't realized I'd formed. Old habits. 3 days later, my loft fills with the smell of birthday cake. No grand celebration, just my chosen family, Jamie, Zoe, Marcus, and 4 team members who've become more than colleagues. They sing off-key around a cake decorated with a phoenix rising. Zoe's hand finds mine under the table. Make a wish, she whispers. I don't need to. For the first time, I feel comfortable owning my journey, all of it. The local news interview wasn't part of my plan. The foundation was meant to operate quietly, but the story went viral. Now I sit across from a reporter whose eyes calculate my value in viewers. Your story is remarkable, Miss Brooks. What drove you to create opportunities specifically for students whose families don't support their career choices? I consider my practiced answer, but something shifts inside me. My parents hid my college acceptance letters. I say simply, they let me believe I'd failed, then kicked me out at 17. These students deserve better. The reporter blinks, recalibrating. Have you reconnected with your family since your success? My family is here today, I say, gesturing to the room where scholarship recipients mingle with my team. Supporting these students. Later that week, I sit across from Tyler, a 17-year-old game design prodigy whose father called his passion a waste of time. The code you wrote for this physics engine is impressive, I tell him. With refinements, it could revolutionize mobile gaming. His eyes widen. Really? My dad says I'm just playing around. My parents said the same thing. I turn my monitor toward him, showing the prototype that became North Star's breakthrough title. As Tyler leaves, my assistant mentions the news segment is trending online. On my screen, an alert shows it was viewed in my hometown. I imagine my parents in their living room, finally witnessing what they lost, not just me, but the chance to be part of something meaningful. The nationwide expansion announcement exceeds our expectations. 30 scholarships next year, with partnering tech companies offering mentorships. Standing at the industry conference podium, I unveil both the program growth and North Star's most ambitious gameatone, that weaves lessons about chosen family throughout its narrative. Success isn't measured by meeting family expectations, I tell the audience. It's about creating something meaningful from your unique vision, regardless of who believes in you. That evening, I retreat to my cabin on Lake Superior. The sunset paints the water gold as I read a letter from Sarai, now completing her first semester. You showed me that sometimes our real family is the one we build, not the one we're born into. On my wall hangs a framed acceptance letter not sent back to taunt my family as I once planned, but displayed prominently in the foundation office where it inspires others. Sometimes the best revenge is creating the future they tried to steal from you. The afternoon light spills through the curtains Delaney and I picked out last spring, casting warm patterns across the sample menu cards scattered across my desk. I've been at this for hours, comparing font styles for the place settings, but the satisfaction of getting every detail right for Mom and Dad's anniversary party keeps me going. My phone buzzes against the oak desktop, Mom's name lighting up the screen. Perfect timing. I need her final approval on the centerpieces before the florist deadline tomorrow. Hey, Mom, I answer, tucking the phone between my ear and shoulder while arranging the silver and navy color swatches side by side. I was just about to call you about the flowers. Mara, darling. Her voice rings through with that particular pitch she uses when she's excited about something. I was thinking about the guest list again. I laugh softly. Mom, we finalized that 2 weeks ago. The invitations go to the printer tomorrow. I know. She pauses, that brief silence sending an unexpected chill down my spine. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page about everything. Something in her tone shifts my focus entirely away from the color samples. I set down my pen. What do you mean? Well, about who's coming. Another pause, longer this time. Oh, and Delaney doesn't need to come. It's just a family thing. The words hit me like a physical blow. For a moment, I can't speak, can't even form thoughts beyond the roaring in my ears. The light that seemed so warm moments ago turns harsh and glaring. Delaney is my wife. I finally manage, my voice barely above a whisper. She is family. Dad's voice rumbles in the background, and then he's on the line. Mara, listen. We just don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. My fingers tighten around the phone. 3 years of marriage, and they still act like Delaney is some phase I'm going through. Someone temporary they can simply wait out. If my wife isn't welcome, I say, each word measured and clear, then I won't be there either. Mom's laugh crackles through the phone, tight and dismissive. Don't be dramatic, sweetheart. It's our anniversary. Yes, I say. The anniversary I've spent 3 months planning. The anniversary party I've put $8,000 into. The anniversary celebration you asked me to handle because I have, what did you call it, better taste than you do. Mara. No, the word comes out sharper than I intended. You don't get to do this. The line goes silent for so long, I check to see if the call dropped. Then Mom sighs. We'll talk about this later when you're not so emotional. The call ends, and I stand frozen, phone still clutched in my hand. 3 months ago, Mom sat across from me at the corner cafe downtown, her eyes bright with something close to pride, as she asked me to plan their 35th anniversary celebration. You've always had better taste than me, she'd said, reaching across the table to squeeze my hand. The gesture had felt like a bridge being built after years of tension, after their empty seats at my wedding, after holiday dinners where Delaney's name was carefully avoided. I'd believed her. I'd wanted so badly to believe this meant something was shifting, that they were finally ready to accept my life, all of it. Last night, I showed Delaney the growing stack of vendor contracts on my desk. She stood behind me, hands resting lightly on my shoulders, scanning the catering invoice. $8,200, she whispered, the concern in her voice carefully masked. That's most of our vacation fund. I know. I covered her hand with mine, but it's worth it. You'll finally get to be part of a real family event with them. No more separate holiday visits or awkward phone calls. Delaney had smiled, but I'd caught that flicker of doubt in her eyes. She'd seen this pattern before, but hadn't wanted to dampen my hope. I sink into my office chair and open my email, needing to check something with the venue. That's when I see a new message confirming a change request. As requested by the primary contact, Teresa Lawson. My mother has changed the contact email. I click through to another notification, this one accidentally forwarded to me an email thread between mom and various family members. Mara's a bit emotional about her relationship stuff, but don't worry, the party's still on. The words blur as tears fill my eyes. $8,000. Countless hours. All to plan a celebration for someone who's been planning behind my back to erase the most important person in my life. I don't hear Delaney come in until her soft Mara pulls me back to the present. She takes in the scene at the desk, tears streaming down my face, invitation samples spread across the surface like evidence at a crime scene. What happened? She asks, kneeling beside my chair. I try to speak, but all that comes out is a sob. My hands shake as I punch in Mom's number. The phone rings 3 times before she answers, her voice bright and casual as if nothing happened. Mara, honey, I was just about to call you about the centerpieces. I'm thinking we should. Why did you change the contact email with the venue? The words come out sharper than I intended, my voice cracking slightly. A pause. Oh, that. Her tone shifts, dismissive now. I just thought it would be easier since you've been so busy. That's not what the email said. I gripped the phone tighter, staring at the printed evidence spread across our dining table. You told them you were taking over the planning. You're overreacting, Mom sighs. We just want a traditional family gathering. Is that so terrible? Heat rises to my face. A traditional family gathering that excludes my wife? Mara, do you have any idea how much money I've already spent on this? $8,000, Mom, from our vacation fund. The line rustles and Dad's voice replaces hers. This isn't about you, Mara, it's our anniversary. That's right, I say, pressing my free hand flat against the table to steady myself. The anniversary I've spent 3 months planning. The celebration you specifically asked me to handle. We appreciate your help, but Delaney isn't welcome. The words hang in the air between us. Now, Mara, Dad's voice hardens. You're making this difficult for everyone. I'm making it difficult? My laugh sounds foreign to my own ears. When did you decide this? When exactly did you plan to exclude my wife from an event I'm paying for? The silence stretches, confirming what I already know. You never intended to include her, did you? My voice drops to barely above a whisper. This whole thing was just another attempt to separate us. Dad clears his throat. Your mother will call you tomorrow when you've calmed down. The call ends with a click, and my arm drops to my side, suddenly weighted. The texts start arriving within the hour. My cousin Rachel just saw Aunt Teresa's email. WTF? Attached is a screenshot of a message Mom sent to the family group chat, the one I was never added to after introducing Delaney to everyone 3 years ago. Mara's a bit emotional about her relationship situation, but don't worry, the celebration is still happening as planned. Gordon and I are looking forward to seeing everyone for our special day. P.S. Please don't mention this to Mara, as she's sensitive right now. My stomach clenches. I scroll down to another message Rachel sent. Check your email. I'm forwarding something you need to see. The forwarded email loads, and my breath catches. It's a thread between Mom and my Aunt Susan from 2 weeks ago. We're trying to get her away from that influence. I've invited Jeff, remember her college boyfriend, and seated them together. Maybe seeing him will remind her of normalcy. Below that, a reply from Susan. Has Mara's roommate been told she's not invited? Mom's response, we'll handle her friend. Gordon thinks Mara will come around once she's surrounded by real family again. The word friend burns across my vision. 3 years of marriage reduced to friend. The deliberate erasure of Delaney of us laid bare in black and white. More messages arrive. Screenshots of conversations where Mom refers to Delaney as my roommate, my friend, my Boston situation. Never my wife, never family. I don't hear Delaney enter the room, only register her presence when a mug of tea appears beside my hand. She doesn't ask questions, just sits in the chair across from me, her eyes taking in the papers and my phone. its screen still lighting up with new messages. They invited Jeff. I say, the words tasting sour. From college. Delaney raises an eyebrow but stays quiet. They seated us together. At their anniversary. The one I'm planning. I gesture at the seating chart I'd created, unaware I was orchestrating my own humiliation. They think if they get me away from your influence, I'll come around. Something shifts inside me, a tectonic plate sliding into a new position. The realization hits with startling clarity. They still expect me to change. After 3 years of marriage, after all the holidays where they've kept Delaney at arm's length, they're still waiting for this to be a phase I'll outgrow. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Uncle Tom. Mara, your mother just called me. I want you to know Sarah and I won't be attending if Delaney isn't welcome. That's not how family behaves. Tears prick my eyes. Unexpected allies emerging from the family landscape I thought was uniformly hostile. Another text from Rachel. Mom and I are out too. This is bullshit. My cousin Anthony, always quiet at family gatherings. Not cool what Aunt Teresa's doing. Count me out. Delaney rises without a word and returns moments later with our wedding album. She places it open between us. There we are, surrounded by friends and a handful of relatives, Uncle Tom and Aunt Sarah, Rachel and her mom, Anthony standing awkwardly but present in a poorly fitted suit. The chosen few who showed up when my parents' chairs sat empty. This is our family too, Delaney says quietly, her finger tracing the edge of the photo. The contrast couldn't be more stark, the cold. Conditional acceptance my parents offer versus the warm, unwavering support of those who love us both. I gather the scattered papers, the contracts and receipts, the emails that reveal the truth behind my mother's request. My hands, which trembled minutes ago, steady as purpose, replaces hurt. What are you going to do? Delaney asks, watching me stack everything into the planning binder. I meet her eyes across the table. What I should have done 3 years ago, stop pretending. The binder closes with a final, satisfying snap. My fingers tremble slightly as I dial the venue's number. A woman answers on the third ring, her voice crisp and professional. Lakeside Gardens, this is Amber speaking. I take a deep breath. Hi Amber, this is Mara Lawson Reynolds. I'm calling about the anniversary celebration booked for the 14th of April. Of course. Let me pull that up. The click of her keyboard fills the pause. The Lawson anniversary, correct? Yes. I grip the phone tighter. I need to cancel the event. Amber's voice shifts from professional to concerned. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. May I ask why? I hadn't prepared for this question. The truth spills out before I can stop it. I'm the one who made the arrangements and payments, but the event was for my parents. They've decided to exclude my wife from the guest list. A beat of silence follows. When Amber speaks again, her voice has softened, maternal almost. I understand completely. Something protective enters her tone. Well, since you're the contract holder and the one who put down all the deposits, we can process this cancellation immediately. No questions asked. 20 minutes later, I've secured a full refund, minus a small processing fee. Each vendor call that follows strengthens rather than drains me. The caterer expresses sympathy. The band manager assures me they'll find another booking. The florist offers to create a special arrangement for my home instead. Something bright, she says. With each cancellation, my voice grows steadier. By the time I hang up with the linen rental company, my final call, 3 hours have passed. $8,000 will be returned to our account within 7 business days. The house falls quiet. Delaney left for the grocery store halfway through my calls, sensing I needed space. I walk through our kitchen, sliding open the back door to the small garden we planted last spring. I sink onto the wooden bench. It's done. All of it. The realization crashes over me like a physical force. My shoulders hunch forward as the first sob breaks free. Then another, and another. 3 months of planning. Years of hoping. A lifetime of trying to be enough for them. I press my palms against my eyes, but the tears won't stop. How could I have been so blind? I don't hear Delaney until she sets down grocery bags and sits beside me. She doesn't speak, doesn't reach for me, just sits, her shoulder touching mine, solid and present. I kept thinking, my voice cracks, they'd eventually see the way I do. Delaney's hand finds mine, her fingers warm against my cold ones. I wasted so much time waiting for that moment. The admission feels like pulling out a splinter-sharp pain followed by relief. It's never going to happen, is it? I don't know, Delaney answers, her honesty one of the things I've always loved about her. But you can't keep putting your life on hold waiting for it. The doorbell rings, startling us both. In our living room, Sarah and Michael are arranging takeout containers on the coffee table when I emerge from washing my face. Leslie arrives moments later with wine. By 7 o'clock, our home buzzes with the quiet energy of 6 friends. Through the hallway, I hear Delaney's low voice explaining what happened while I was in the bathroom. Her mother actually changed the contact email with vendors behind her back. Michael's indignant response carries clearly. She spent how much of her own money on this thing, $8,000, for people who can't even respect her marriage? When I return, the room quiets momentarily before Sarah raises her glass. I was just saying you should use that refund money for something meaningful, she says, eyes bright with protective anger. Maybe that trip to Maine you two have been talking about, instead of on people who don't deserve your effort. I look around our living room at these people who dropped everything on a Tuesday night because Delaney called. No conditions, no manipulations, just love. Later, after everyone leaves, I open my laptop at the kitchen table. The email draft glows on the screen. To all invited guests. The event scheduled for the 14th of April has been canceled due to personal reasons. For questions, please contact Gordon and Teresa directly. Sincerely, Mara Lawson Reynolds. My finger hovers over the send button. Delaney comes up behind me, her hand covering mine on the mouse. Are you sure? I add one more line before looking up at her. And yes, Delaney is still very much my wife and family. Now I am. I click send. Within minutes, my phone begins buzzing with notifications. Text messages, voicemails, social media alerts. I watch it vibrate across the kitchen counter 5 times before I walk over, silence it, and place it in the drawer next to the silverware. The sudden quiet fills our kitchen. For the first time in months, maybe years, I feel something unexpected. Peace. Not happiness, exactly. But the stillness that comes with finally setting a boundary that should have been set long ago. Delaney leans against the counter, her arms crossed. What do you want to do about your parents now? I consider this, realizing with surprise that the answer comes easily. Nothing. The word tastes like freedom. The ball is in their court now. She raises an eyebrow. And if they never pick it up? I think of the gathering tone I toff Michael's protective anger, Sarah's practical suggestions, Leslie's quiet understanding. I think of the garden bench where Delaney sat with me while I finally mourned the relationship I'd always wanted but never had. Then we keep building this. I gesture around us to our home, to the empty wine glasses on the coffee table, to the 2 of us standing in our kitchen. This is real. This is family. Delaney crosses to me, taking both my hands in hers. Are you okay? For the first time in weeks, my answer isn't automatic. I actually consider the question. Not yet, I tell her, but I will be. My phone vibrates for the 9th time today. Mom again. I let it buzz against the kitchen counter while I chop vegetables for dinner, the steady rhythm of the knife providing a counterpoint to her increasingly frantic attempts to reach me. When it finally stops, I check the screen. 4 missed calls from Mom, 3 from Dad's cell, 2 from their landline. The voicemail icon displays a little red 8. You going to listen to those? Delaney asks, sliding the cutting board with sliced bell peppers to me. Eventually. I scrape them into the sizzling pan, when I have the emotional bandwidth. Later, curled on the couch with a glass of wine, I press play on the first message. Mara, sweetie, call me back. I don't understand why you're doing this. Mom's voice wavers between hurt and indignation. We can still have the party. Don't throw away all your hard work over a simple misunderstanding. The second, from 2 hours later, your father says you're being childish. People are asking questions. What am I supposed to tell them? By the sixth message, her tone has shifted to tears. Please, Mara, you're embarrassing us. 35 years of marriage, and this is how you help us celebrate? Dad's contribution is a single terse voicemail. You've embarrassed us. Fix this. The line goes dead without even a goodbye. My phone pings with a text from cousin Rachel. Aunt Teresa called Mom crying for an hour. Said you're having some kind of breakdown. What's really happening? I delete all the messages without responding. 3 days ago, they would have filled me with guilt. Now they just confirm I made the right decision. The next morning, Rachel sends screenshots of Mom's hastily created Facebook event. Intimate anniversary gathering, family only. She's telling everyone they always wanted something small at home anyway, Rachel writes. Says the other venue was too impersonal for a family celebration. I zoom in on the attendee list. Only 14 people have accepted less than a quarter of the original guest list. They're scrambling. I tell Delaney over breakfast, trying to save face. Is it working? Not really. I scroll through more messages. Uncle Tom asked Mom point blank why I wasn't handling things anymore. Aunt Susan wants to know why the venue changed. Delaney refills my coffee cup. And what did your mother say? That I got overwhelmed with the planning. I make air quotes with my fingers. And they graciously took over to reduce my stress, while making sure I'm not there. Exactly. I reach across the table for her hand, but people are starting to question their story. On what would have been the day of the original celebration, my phone lights up with texts from family who attended their hastily arranged home gathering. Only 10 people showed up, cousin Rachel reports. Your mom keeps laughing too loudly at everything. Your dad hasn't smiled once and keeps looking at his watch. They have grocery store cake and boxed wine, Aunt Susan adds. Your dad told Mrs. Edwards you ruined their special day with your dramatic tantrum. I picture it Mom's forced cheerfulness failing to mask her embarrassment. Dad brooding in the corner, blaming me for their social humiliation. They're getting exactly what they wanted, I tell Delaney. A family-only event. Just not the impressive one they could brag about. Exactly. I set down my phone. Funny how actions have consequences. The text from my cousin Anthony arrives later that night. I stare at my screen, stunned. What is it? Delaney asks, looking up from her book. I read it aloud. I don't get the whole two women married thing. But honestly, Delaney seems more solid than half the husbands I know. You're the only one in the family who stood up for something real. Delaney's eyes widen. From Anthony? The same guy who wouldn't sit at our table at Christmas? The very same. Within hours, more messages arrive from unexpected corners of the family. My great-aunt Elaine. Your mother was wrong to exclude Delaney. I told her so to her face today. Cousin Michael. Mom and I had a long talk after the party. She's embarrassed she didn't speak up sooner. Each message is a tiny crack in my family's united front against us. My Aunt Betty calls the next day. I'm disappointed in how Teresa handled things, she says without preamble. We raised our children better than this. I squeeze the phone, throat tight. Thank you for saying that. Truth always comes out eventually, Mara. Her voice softens. Sometimes it just needs one person brave enough to speak it first. After we hang up, I find Delaney in the garden, pruning roses in the late afternoon light. The family story is shifting, I tell her, sinking onto the bench beside the flower beds. People are choosing sides, and not all of them are choosing my parents. Truth has a power all its own, Delaney says, setting down her shears, even when it's uncomfortable. I watch a bumblebee navigate the roses, moving with purpose between blooms. I never expected to be the one who broke the family pattern. Sometimes, Delaney says, her hand finding mine, dirt and all, the most loyal thing you can do for a family is refuse to participate in its lies. The doorbell chimes through our quiet Sunday afternoon, jarring against the jazz record Delaney put on after breakfast. Through the peephole, my mother's face appears, distorted and anxious. My stomach drops. 3 weeks of silence shattered with no warning. When I open the door, Mom steps forward immediately, arms outstretched, eyes already glassy. Mara, sweetheart. I didn't know you were coming, I say, not stepping back to invite her in. I had to see you. Her voice cracks. I miss my daughter. Over her shoulder, I spot Dad in their silver Lexus at the curb, engine running, gaze fixed forward. Won't even get out of the car. Please, she whispers. I just want things to go back to normal. That word normal snags in my chest like a splinter. Come in, I say finally, stepping aside. We can sit in the living room. Mom's heels click against our hardwood floors. She settles on the edge of the sofa, perched like a bird ready for flight. Her purse stays in her lap, a barrier between us. Delaney moves to the armchair beside me. But Mom's gaze slides past her, as if the chair sits empty. You could have called first, I say. Mom twists her wedding band, the same nervous habit I inherited. I lie awake at night wondering where I went wrong, why you'd hurt us like this. The familiar weight of guilt presses against my ribs, but something has shifted. The pressure finds no purchase. I didn't hurt you, Mom. I refuse to let you hurt me and Delaney. Mom's eyes shine. I know things haven't been perfect, but we're family. Blood. Nothing should come between that. Nothing, I repeat, letting the words sit between us. Including my wife? Mom flinches. Her gaze drops to her hands. I just want my daughter back. Delaney's presence beside me radiates warmth, without a word spoken. Mom still hasn't looked at her. I've always been here, Mom. You just never wanted all of me. I lean forward, my voice steady in a way it's never been with her before. For 3 years, you've never once called Delaney my wife. Only my friend or my roommate, or when you're feeling particularly bold, Mara's partner. At Christmas, you put her name on a separate gift tag. At Thanksgiving, you set her place at the kids' table until Aunt Susan called you out. Mom's mouth opens, then closes. You've never seen Delaney as my wife, I continue, only as an obstacle to overcome. That's not true. Mom's voice rises. We just want what's best for you. And you've never realized that she is what's best for me. The silence stretches between us like a taut wire. Through the window, I see Dad check his watch. I take a deep breath. If you want a relationship with me, I need to be clear about what that looks like. Delaney is my wife. That means using that word wife when you refer to her. It means acknowledging our marriage as real and permanent. My voice grows stronger with each word. It means no more separate invitations, no more asking only me to family events, no more schemes to reconnect me with ex-boyfriends. No more pretending we're just going through a phase. No more telling relatives we're roommates. Mom's face flushes red. You're asking a lot. I'm asking for basic respect. What about your father? He's not comfortable with. Then he's not comfortable with me, I cut in. This isn't a negotiation, Mom. It's the reality of who I am. Her hands grip her purse strap so tightly her knuckles pale. The carefully constructed facade cracks. For the first time, she looks directly at Delaney. What about family? Her voice wavers. Don't you care about that anymore? Delaney reaches for my hand. Our fingers intertwine without looking, a movement as natural as breathing. That's exactly what I'm protecting, I say softly. My family. This family. Right here. Mom stands abruptly, purse clutched to her chest like armor. I see. She moves toward the door, pausing with her hand on the knob. For a moment, I glimpse the mother I remember from childhood before expectations hardened her edges. Vulnerable. Uncertain. The ball's in your court, Mom, I say. We're here when you're ready to see us, both of us. The door closes behind her with a soft click. Through the window, I watch her slow walk to the car, Dad's questioning gesture, her short head shake in response. The Lexus pulls away from the curb, becoming smaller until it vanishes around the corner. Delaney's arm slides around my waist. You okay? Better than I expected, I say, surprised to find it's true. Actually, I was thinking about the refund money from the anniversary party. What about it? I turn to face her, an idea taking shape. What if we host our own celebration? Invite the people who've actually stood by us. Nothing fancy, maybe a backyard barbecue when the weather warms up. Delaney smiles. With Rachel and Michael and your Uncle Tom? And Anthony, I add, thinking of my conservative cousin's unexpected support. A gathering where no one has to pretend or hide, Delaney says, squeezing my hand. With both our names on the invitations. I lean into her. Equal billing. I already picture it. String lights crisscrossing our maple tree. Mismatched tables arranged on the lawn. Laughter flowing as freely as wine. No stiff formality, no pointed omissions. Just authenticity. Look at you, setting boundaries and planning parties in the same day. I laugh, the sound lighter than it's been in weeks. Well, I did drop $8,000 on an event that never happened. Might as well put those planning skills to use for people who actually see us. Outside, spring sunshine breaks through the clouds, casting warm patterns across our living room floor, not unlike the light that spilled through the curtains Delaney and I chose together, back when I was planning a different celebration. But this light feels cleaner somehow, unobstructed. String lights crisscross our backyard like constellations, reflecting off the rims of wine glasses and the silver serving platters we borrowed from Sarah. The air smells of charcoal and Sarah's famous rosemary bread. Laughter ripples across our lawn, rising and falling in a rhythm that feels nothing like the strained politeness of my parents' gatherings. Delaney stands by the makeshift bar, pouring wine for my cousin Anthony, who's leaning forward with surprising interest. I strain to hear their conversation over the music. "So you restore old buildings?" Anthony asks, taking the glass she offers. "That's some hard work." "Mostly on paper," Delaney says. "I analyze structural integrity, figure out what can stay and what needs replacing." "Huh." He nods, looking genuinely impressed. "Like surgery for buildings." I watch as Delaney laughs, her hand touching his arm briefly the way she does when she's making a real connection. 3 years of family gatherings where she sat silently, barely acknowledged. And now here she is, teaching my conservative cousin about historical architecture preservation. The tightness that's lived between my shoulder blades for years loosens a notch. Uncle Tom raises his glass, catching everyone's attention. "If I could say something." His voice, gravelly from decades of smoking, silences the chatter. "To Mara and Delaney, the couple who brought us all together today. Some people," he pauses, and I know he's thinking of my parents, "mistake tradition for love. But looking around, I'd say this right here is what family's supposed to be." My eyes burn as glasses rise in a wave around our yard. I'm not the only one wiping away tears. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I shouldn't check it, not now, but some habits die hard. It's Mom. The house feels empty without all the family. No mention of Dad, no apology. Just the beginning of awareness that actions have consequences. Delaney finds me by the hydrangeas we planted last spring. "You okay?" She hands me a fresh glass of wine. "Better than okay." I take her hand, feeling the calluses from her weekend woodworking projects. Just thinking about paths. Mom's reaching out, sort of. Dad isn't. Some people need more time, she says, her thumb tracing circles on my palm. And some people never get there. I finish. The realization doesn't sting like it used to. After the last guests leave, we sit on our porch swing, my head against Delaney's shoulder. The yard below still bears evidence of celebration, a forgotten scarf, empty glasses waiting to be collected, flower petals scattered across the grass. "Do you regret it?" Delaney asks suddenly. "Canceling their party?" I let the swing rock us back and forth while I consider. The weight of her question deserves a thoughtful answer. "Not for a second," I finally say, surprised by how much I mean it. This is what celebration should feel like. Later, after we've turned off the string lights and locked the doors, we stand side by side at the kitchen sink. I wash, she dries the routine we've perfected over years. Her hip bumps mine occasionally, our hands passing plates back and forth in a dance so familiar we don't need words. "What are you thinking about?" she asks, placing a wine glass in the cabinet. "Family," I say. "Not just blood, the kind we build. Like this house," she says. "We should do this more often, make our home a gathering place." She smiles. The anti-Lawson family traditions. On the windowsill above the sink sits the Polaroid that Sarah took tonight, all of us gathered on the back steps, drinks in hand, Delaney's arm around my waist, my head thrown back in laughter. "I'll frame it tomorrow." My breath fogs the window as I look out at our garden, darkness hiding the trampled grass and scattered citronella candles. We'll clean it properly tomorrow, but tonight, the mess feels like evidence of something honest. It sucks when your own family turns their back, I say, handing Delaney the last plate. But sometimes, your real family is the one that chooses to stay.